The summer sun of 1570 beats down on your small village in Ming Dynasty, China, its rays glinting off the dust that clings to your worn cotton tunic. At 12 years old, your world is simple: wattle walls, a thatched roof, dirt floors packed hard by years of bare feet. Your days are filled with chores: fetching water from the stream, its cool bite a fleeting relief, and helping your mother knead dough in the dim light of your family shack. Laughter with other children, chasing each other through the dusty lanes, is a rare escape from the grind. Life is hard but predictable, the rhythm of rural existence unbroken, until one afternoon, when a lacquered carriage rolls into the village, its black shine reflecting the sun like a dark mirror. It doesn't belong here. The Ming Shi, the official history of the dynasty, notes such carriages as symbols of imperial authority, their arrival often heralding disruption. Villagers gather, their murmurs low and tense, faces etched with the memory of past visits that brought taxes or conscriptions. A government official steps out, flanked by attendants in crisp silk, their swords glinting. His embroidered robes shimmer with gold thread, his gloved hands and unreadable face marking him as a stranger to this world of mud and toil. You're called forward, your heart thudding as the crowd parts. He doesn't ask your name. His eyes, not unkind but clinical, scan your teeth, your skin, your posture, lingering on your bun-bound feet. The Daming Huidian, a Ming administrative code, describes these inspections as standard for selecting girls for the imperial harem, assessing purity and potential for the emperor's court. His silence is an evaluation, not a conversation. You stand frozen, the scent of his perfumed robes mingling with the village's earthy tang as he speaks briefly with your father. No negotiation occurs. A pouch of silver changes hands, its weight heavy in the stillness. Your father avoids your gaze, his face shadowed with shame or resignation, as the Ming Huiyao records such transactions as common, trading daughters for wealth to secure family survival. You are not being sold into marriage or a noble household service. You are now state property, chosen for the inner court of the Forbidden City, destined for the imperial harem. The term harem is foreign to you, its meaning vague but ominous. Few girls understand, as historian Keith McMahon notes. Selection severed ties to family, thrusting children into a world of power and peril. Emotionally, the shock of this moment, ripped from home without warning, likely sparks fear and confusion, as modern trauma studies suggest abrupt separations can fracture a child's sense of security. You're taken immediately. No time to pack or say goodbye. The cart, creaking under the weight of you and other girls, most your age or slightly older, rumbles away from the village. The Xuanzang Shilu mentions such journeys, noting groups of girls transported under guard to Beijing, their silence a mix of dread and exhaustion. Dust clings to your face, the summer heat stifling, as the guards' weapons glint beside the cart. Are they protecting you or preventing escape? You don't know, and the other girls, their eyes wide or downcast, say little. The cultural context of Ming China that sharpens the stakes. The harem, as McMahon explains, was a political machine where girls were assets in a system of imperial control, their bodies molded to serve the emperor and dynasty. Your village, with its rice paddies and ox carts, fades into memory as the journey stretches over days. The cart's jolts a constant reminder of your uprooting. The psychological toll, as studies on displacement suggest, likely breeds a mix of resignation and hypervigilance. Your young mind, grappling with the loss of everything familiar. A comparison lies in the Ottoman Empire, where girls were similarly taken for the Sultan's harem. As historian Leslie Pierce records, their identities erased to serve the state. As the cart nears Beijing, the Forbidden City's red walls loom, massive and silent, their lacquered gates a stark contrast to your village's simplicity. The Ming Shi describes the palace as a fortress of power, its walls enclosing a world where every gesture is watched. Your march through the gates, the air heavy with incense and authority, and handed to court eunuchs. Their high-pitched voices and distant expressions unsettle you, their silk robes rustling as they move with practiced indifference. The Deming Huidian notes eunuchs as gatekeepers of the harem, their authority absolute within its walls. They don't treat you cruelly, but their detachment speaks volumes. You are here to be processed, not welcomed. The cart's dust still clings to your skin, a faint echo of home, as you step into a world where your past is irrelevant, and your future belongs to the empire. The stage is set for a transformation you cannot yet comprehend, where survival will demand more than obedience. It will require cunning, silence, and a will to endure. The red walls of the Forbidden City loom over you in 1570, their lacquered gates swallowing the dusty cart that brought you from your village. At 12, you step into Beijing's Imperial heart, the air thick with incense and the weight of unseen eyes. The Ming Shi describes the palace as a labyrinth of power, its sprawling courtyards and gilded roofs a world apart from your wattle-walled home. You're marched through towering gates, the clack of guards' boots echoing off polished stone, and handed to court eunuchs, their high-pitched voices and distant expressions chilling your skin. The Daming Huidian notes their role as harem overseers, managing every aspect of the inner court with clinical precision. They don't speak to you beyond curt instructions, their silk robes rustling as they lead you to a vast hall where inspections begin. The process is cold, methodical. You're stripped alongside other girls, your body exposed to scrutiny, height, skin tone, symmetry, and especially your feet. One girl is dismissed for a birthmark on her back, another for a slight squint, as recorded in Ming court protocols, which demanded physical perfection for imperial candidates. Your small, unbound feet are deemed promising, but that promise comes with pain. Footbinding, as historian Dorothy Coe explains, was a mark of elite refinement, transforming feet into lotus buds through brutal reshaping. Bandages are wrapped tightly, toes curled under, bones cracking under the force. The pain is searing, a daily torment that will redefine how you move. The Ming Huiyao describes this practice as widespread among the elite, signaling obedience and beauty, though not universal in rural areas like yours. Psychologically, modern trauma studies suggest such physical alteration could fracture a child's sense of self, yet you're expected to endure silently, your cries stifled to avoid dismissal. You're assigned to a section of the Forbidden City for junior concubines in training, not a room, but a system, as Keith McMahon notes. The harem was a machine, molding girls into assets. Your quarters are sparse, straw mats, mosquito nets, no luxuries. You're not yet a consort, merely a candidate, a servant under constant watch. Lessons begin immediately. How to kneel, bow, serve tea, walk without raising your eyes, and dress in standard silk robes, as outlined in the Daming Huidian. Silence is drilled into you, obedience rewarded, mistakes noted. You learn to address eunuchs, senior women, and inspectors with precision. Each word measured to avoid offense. The cultural context of Ming China amplifies the stakes. The harem, as McMahon writes, was a political arena where women were tools of imperial legacy. A parallel lies in the Ottoman harem, where, as Leslie Pierce records, girls faced similar inspections and training to serve the sultan, their identities erased for the state's needs. Your village life, fetching water, playing in dust, fades as you're molded to serve a distant emperor. The emotional toll is immense. Modern psychological insights suggest such isolation can breed hypervigilance, and you feel it, the constant pressure to perform flawlessly in a world where a misstep could mean expulsion. The palace's architecture, with its vermilion pillars and jade-tiled roofs, as described in Ming Shi, is both awe-inspiring and oppressive. Its beauty, a facade for control. Eunuchs, omnipresent, are unsettling. Their high voices, a result of castration detailed in Ming medical texts, mark them as neither male nor female, their authority absolute within these walls. A Ming court record recounts a girl dismissed for flinching at a eunuch's touch, her fear deemed disobedience. You learn quickly to hide your unease, your face a mask as you navigate their gaze. Training includes calligraphy, embroidery, and music, not for expression, but to entertain. As the Daming Huaidian mandates for concubines, your fingers, still calloused from village chores, struggle with delicate stitches, the scent of ink and silk replacing the earthy tang of home. The older women, senior consorts, offer no warmth, their silence a barrier. As McMahon notes, distance preserved their status. A kind glance is rare. Most correct your posture or snap at a misstep, their eyes sharp with competition. The psychological strain, as studies on confined environments suggest, fosters a survival instinct. You learn being invisible is safer than being noticed. Rumors swirl among the girls, whispered tales of concubines who vanished for breaking rules, as Ming chronicles hint at purges for disorderly conduct. Whether true or not, these stories shape your reality, teaching you to move with care, to speak only when spoken to. The Forbidden City, with its endless corridors and watchful eyes, is no sanctuary, but a political machine. As historian Susan Mann writes, every gesture was a test, every day a trial. Your body aches from bound feet, your heart from the loss of freedom. Yet you endure, driven by a child's resilience and a growing sense that survival demands more than obedience. It requires cunning. The stage is set for a life where every step is watched, and you, a girl from a dusty village, must learn to navigate a world that seeks to reshape you entirely. The psychological strain, as studies on confined environments suggest, fosters a survival instinct. You learn being invisible is safer than being noticed. Rumors swirl among the girls, whispered tales of concubines who vanished for breaking rules, as Ming chronicles hint at purges for disorderly conduct. Whether true or not, these stories shape your reality, teaching you to move with care, to speak only when spoken to. The Forbidden City, with its endless corridors and watchful eyes, is no sanctuary but a political machine. As historian Susan Mann writes, every gesture was a test, every day a trial. Your body aches from bound feet, your heart from the loss of freedom, yet you endure, driven by a child's resilience and a growing sense that survival demands more than obedience. It requires cunning. The stage is set for a life where every step is watched, and you, a girl from a dusty village, must learn to navigate a world that seeks to reshape you entirely. A year has passed since the red gates of the Forbidden City closed behind you in 1570, and at 13, you no longer flinch at their clang. The towering vermilion walls, once foreign, now feel like permanent barriers, their lacquered surfaces reflecting the dim glow of lanterns. You've memorized every corridor from your sparse quarters to the inner courtyards, where the scent of incense clings to silk curtains. The Ming Shi describes the palace as a fortress of ritual, its every corner alive with scrutiny. Your rank remains low, a mere candidate among the Xuan Nu, or selected women, tasked with menial service while training to become a concubine. You wake before dawn, washing in cold water, dressing in standard silk robes that feel heavy against your village-hardened skin. Today, you serve a second-rank consort, a woman who has graced the emperor's chambers for over a decade. Her face, powdered and expressionless, betrays nothing as you pour her tea. When you hesitate, her fingers tap the table twice, a silent warning, not a reprimand. The Daming Huidian notes such gestures as common in the harem, where precision is survival. You adjust your speed, your face blank. For showing emotion, a smile too eager or a pause too long invites misinterpretation. The women above you are not mentors or family. They are competitors, guarding their fragile status with quiet precision. As historian Keith McMahon observes, the harem was a battlefield of silence. You learn to read their subtle cues, a shift in posture, a glance too sharp. Survival skills honed in a world where words are traps. The rules, only partly written, are a maze. Never speak to a man unless ordered. Never leave your quarters after nightfall. Never defy a eunuch. These are etched in Ming court protocols, but unwritten rules, enforced by custom and fear, are learned the hard way. The girl in the bed next to yours whispered back to a senior consort last week. She hasn't returned, her absence unexplained, as Xuanzong Shilu records of such disappearances for disobedience. You understand now that power in the harem is both fragile and absolute, a paradox that shapes every step. The emperor remains a distant myth, his preferences gleaned only through the lips of senior women or eunuchs. Yet your life orbits the possibility of his notice. Being summoned is rare. Being called twice is rarer, the only path to rise, as McMahon notes. Favor was the currency of survival. The competition is silent but relentless. Girls adjust their posture when a senior eunuch passes, practice fan gestures in stolen moments, whisper rumors of who is favored or fallen. A girl in your cohort spills a drop of soup during service. She returns hours later, knuckles swollen from bamboo rods, a punishment detailed in Ming records for minor infractions. Another is accused of lingering too long with a guard and vanishes permanently, her fate unspoken but heavy. As Ming Huiyao hints at such removals for perceived flirtation, the harem is no sanctuary but a controlled machine. As historian Susan Mann writes, order trumped justice, and obedience was law. Rumors, passed in hushed tones, shape your reality. Tales of a consort dismissed for spilling wine on a noble, or another locked in a sealed room for writing to her family, forbidden without imperial consent, as Ming chronicles confirm. True or not, these stories teach you to move like a shadow. Your bound feet, their bones reshaped by tight bandages, ache daily. The pain a constant companion, as Dorothy Coe explains. Lotus feet were a mark of control, not beauty. Yet you smile through it, for visible suffering is weakness, and weakness invites dismissal. Modern psychological studies suggest such chronic pain and surveillance foster hypervigilance, and you feel it, your senses attuned to every glance, every whisper. Training continues. Calligraphy, embroidery, music, not for joy but to mold you into an ornament, as the Daming Huidian mandates. Your fingers fumble with silk threads, the elegance foreign to hands once used for fetching water. A parallel lies in the Ottoman harem, where Leslie Peirce describes girls trained in similar arts to serve the Sultan, their individuality erased for the state. Eunuchs omnipresent, enforce discipline, their high voices and cold authority. As Ming medical texts note, a reminder of their unique power. You never challenge them, keeping your head low, your steps silent. Each day repeats, scrubbing floors, fetching garments, attending drills, always with care, for a single mistake could end you, as a Ming courtier's diary recounts a girl banished for a misplaced bow. Yet amid the rigidity, you glimpse subtle codes of power. A well-timed nod to a consort, a discreet gift of embroidery to a eunuch, earns fleeting favor. As McMahon notes, informal networks were the harem's hidden currency. You map these alliances, noting who holds sway, who speaks too freely. After a year, you're no longer invisible, tolerated but not trusted, a survivor in a system that discards the careless. Many girls are gone, dismissed for illness or rebellion, as Ming Shi records purges of unsuitable candidates. You remain, not safe, but present, shaped by a world that demands perfection without flaw, obedience without thought. The Forbidden City, with its jade roofs and endless eyes, is your prison and your stage, and you, a village girl, must learn to play a role you never chose. 3 years have passed since the Forbidden City's gates sealed you inside, and at 16, in 1574, you've learned to move like a shadow through its vermilion corridors, your bound feet silent despite their constant ache. The Ming Shi describes the palace as a world within walls, where every gesture is weighed, every glance a risk. You're still a concubine in training, your days filled with serving senior consorts, your nights haunted by the fear of missteps. The harem's hierarchy, rigid, unforgiving, keeps you low, a Xuan Nu among hundreds, your life orbiting the distant emperor. Then, one evening, everything shifts. A eunuch, his face as blank as jade, delivers a curt message. You are to attend the emperor tonight. No explanation, no reassurance, just an order. As the Daming Huidian notes, such summons were rare and absolute. The other women avoid your eyes as you prepare, their silence heavy with envy or pity. Senior attendants dress you in silk robes embroidered with clouds, their hands swift and wordless, powdering your face to a ghostly pallor. You're carried in a curtained sedan, your bound feet useless, the swaying motion a reminder of your powerlessness. The Imperial chambers loom, their lacquered doors carved with dragons, the air thick with sandalwood and tension, as described in Ming court records. What happens inside is not recorded, not discussed, not optional. You emerge at dawn, the attendants' gazes sliding past you, their silence a wall. Weeks later, a court physician confirms your pregnancy, his voice low, the news spreading like wildfire through the harem's whispered networks. The Ming Huiao explains pregnancy as a double-edged sword, a path to elevation but a beacon for danger. Bearing a child, especially a son, could lift you to concubine of record, even consort, but it paints a target on your back. You're moved to better quarters, a small room with silk curtains and a low table, a stark contrast to the straw mats of your first year. New robes, richer meals, and a personal maid mark your rise, your name now on formal rosters. As Ming protocols mandated for expectant mothers, yet the women above you, senior consorts with years of favor, watch closely, their silence turning to calculation. As historian Keith McMahon notes, a child shifted the harem's balance, making allies into enemies. The emotional toll is crushing. Modern psychological studies suggest sudden elevation in confined systems breeds paranoia. And you feel it. Every glance a potential threat. Rumors ignite within weeks. A senior consort hints you bribed the physician. Another accuses you of poisoning her tea, their words sharp as blades. The Xuanzong Shilu records such accusations as common, used to destabilize rivals. The emperor's mother, the Empress Dowager, summons you to her chambers, her power unmatched. As McMahon writes, she ruled the harem, her word law. Her questions are cold, precise. Whom have you spoken to? What have you eaten? Who attends your quarters? Her gaze lingers, unyielding, as if peeling back your soul. You return to your quarters, leaving your food untouched, fear gnawing at your resolve. The next morning, your maid whispers the accuser has been reassigned to an outer residence, a fate often code for exile, as Ming records hint. Nothing is confirmed, but the warning is clear. Your status protects you, for now. Months later, you give birth to a son. The announcement discreet but resonant. Gifts arrive, silk sashes, jade trinkets, and eunuchs bow lower as the Daming Hui Dian notes for mothers of imperial heirs. Your son is taken to the Palace of Eternal Spring, where children of imperial blood are raised by wet nurses as Ming court protocols dictated. You visit at set times, seeing him briefly, swaddled in silk, guarded by stern-faced nurses. You're not allowed to hold him long, the separation a knife to your heart. As modern maternal psychology suggests, such forced distance can deepen emotional wounds. Yet the birth elevates you to concubine of the 5th rank, no longer the lowest, with new duties at formal events and greater scrutiny, as Ming records detail. A parallel lies in the Ottoman harem, where Leslie Peirce describes mothers of heirs gaining rank but facing intensified rivalries, their status a fragile shield. The harem's air grows heavier. The emperor rarely visits, his time split among dozens of women. As the Ming Shi notes, his attention was a scarce commodity. Your position hinges not on his affection, but on perception, as McMahon observes. In the harem, perception was more lethal than truth. A consort offers you a hairpin as a gift. You decline, later learning it was rumored to be poisoned, a tactic echoed in Ming chronicles of harem intrigue. The cultural context of Ming China amplifies the danger. Favoritism was a political tool, and a new mother threatened established hierarchies, as the Ming Huiao records. Another accusation surfaces. A consort claims you curse the emperor's health, a capital offense in times of imperial illness. As Ming legal codes confirm, the Empress Dowager summons you again, seated with a physician and scribe, her voice calm but deadly. You deny the charge, your voice steady despite your racing heart. Memories of vanished girls, punished for lesser crimes, flooding your mind. Then your maid steps forward, presenting a stolen letter, proving another consort bribed a eunuch to frame you. The Empress Dowager reads in silence, then issues a single command. The accuser is removed, her fate unspoken, as Xuanzong Shilu notes such purges were swift and final. You're spared, but the lesson sears. Survival demands vigilance, the harem's silent codes and shifting loyalties, as Man writes, made every ally a potential traitor. You begin to live with precision, writing nothing, speaking little, your actions measured. Your quarters are swept daily, meals tested, sleep light. At 16, you wear embroidered silk and eat from gilded bowls, but every step is shadowed by collapse. The Forbidden City, with its dragon-carved doors and watchful eyes, is no longer a place to endure, but a battlefield where you fight to remain alive. Your son's future and your own, now intertwined in a game where trust is a luxury you cannot afford. The Forbidden City's vermilion walls, once a distant marvel, now loom as a prison in 1574, their lacquered surfaces reflecting the flickering lanterns that light your sleepless nights. At 16, you're a concubine of the 5th rank, your son's birth a fragile shield in the harem's relentless game. The Ming Shi describes the palace as a web of ambition, where every step invites scrutiny, and your new status, marked by silk robes and a personal maid, has painted a target on your back. The accusation of cursing the emperor's health, a capital offense, still echoes, its sting fresh despite your narrow escape. Your maid's stolen letter, revealing a rival's plot to frame you with cursed herbs, saved you from the Empress Dowager's blade. But the Xuanzong Shilu notes such reprieves were rare, often followed by harsher tests. The rival consort vanished, her fate a whisper in the corridors, as Ming records confirm purges were swift to maintain order. You live now with a vigilance sharpened by fear, your every move calculated. As historian Keith McMahon writes, in the harem, survival was a dance on knives. The emotional toll is crushing. Modern psychological studies suggest constant threat fosters paranoia, and you feel it, checking your quarters daily, testing meals for poison, waking at every creak. The harem's silent codes, where a favor today could turn to betrayal tomorrow, demand you trust no one. As Susan Mann notes, loyalties shifted like sand in the palace. Your son, now in the palace of eternal spring, is both your anchor and your vulnerability. You visit him under strict schedules, his small face barely recognizing you, wrapped in silk and watched by nurses, as the Daming Huidian mandates for imperial heirs. The pain of holding him only briefly, as maternal psychology research indicates, deepens your resolve to protect him from this world. The palace grows tense, grain prices rise, rumors of plague swirl beyond the walls, and whispers of a purge circulate, as Xuanzong Shilu records a 1560s famine that saw over 100 concubines vanish, their names erased. Servants avoid your gaze, eunuchs speak softer, meals arrive late, signaling something unspoken. As McMahon observes, the harem contracted when resources did. Then, one night, danger strikes again. A 4th-rank consort, once a rival, accuses you of witchcraft, claiming herbs found under your bedding cursed the emperor's health. The Ming Huiyao notes such charges were common tools to eliminate threats, especially mothers of potential heirs. You're seized, dragged barefoot to the outer courtyard, the cold stone biting your bound feet. The Empress Dowager waits beneath a canopy, her face unreadable, an executioner's blade gleaming beside her. She offers a choice: confess or see your son face the same fate. Your throat tightens, breath shallow, as memories of vanished girls flood your mind, ones removed for lesser crimes, as Ming chronicles detail. You kneel, hands bound, face to the dirt, refusing to confess, your silence a desperate gamble. Modern trauma studies suggest such moments can forge unyielding resolve, and you cling to it, thinking of your son. Just before the sentence falls, your maid appears, clutching a stolen letter. It exposes the rival's plot, a eunuch bribed with pearl earrings to plant the herbs, aiming to clear her own son's path. The Empress Dowager reads in silence, her single command sending the accuser away, her fate sealed, as Xuanzong Shilu records such swift removals. You're released, but the lesson burns. Survival is no victory, only a delay. The cultural context of Ming China amplifies the stakes. The harem, as man writes, was a machine of control, where mothers of heirs were both prized and imperiled. A parallel lies in the Ottoman harem, where Leslie Pierce describes mothers facing similar plots to secure their sons' futures. Their lives a constant balance of risk. You understand now that your son's value as an imperial heir makes him a target, his life tied to yours in this deadly game. The next day, you act. Arranging for his escape, you contact a distant cousin in a rural province. A risky move forbidden by Ming law, as the Daming Huaidian bans unauthorized contact. It's dangerous, but it's his only chance to live beyond these walls. A trusted maid facilitates the plan, smuggling him out under cover of night. As historical accounts note rare instances of children hidden to escape purges, you see him one last time, his small body warm in your arms, his eyes unaware of the sacrifice. You don't cry or speak, holding him until the maid takes him into the shadowed corridor. As modern maternal psychology suggests, such farewells can fracture the heart, yet fuel resilience. You return to your quarters, the silence deafening, the weight of his absence, a new wound. The harem's air grows heavier, its corridors alive with whispers of who might be next. You live with heightened caution, your meals tested, your words few. A similar tale echoes in the 1568 purge recorded in Ming Shi, where a concubine saved her child by smuggling him to a monastery, only to face exile herself. Your son's escape is your rebellion, a quiet defiance against a system that owns you. At 16, you wear silk and eat from gilded bowls, but your survival now a fight, not just for yourself, but for the boy who carries your hope beyond a palace's crushing walls. The Forbidden City's lacquered walls, once a dazzling cage, now close in like a tomb as you reach 22 in 1578. Your youth, a fleeting asset in the harem, is fading. New girls, 15 and 16, arrive with unblemished skin and untrained smiles, their deep bows and soft voices echoing your own arrival 6 years ago. The Ming Shi describes the palace as a cycle of renewal, where younger women replace the old, their freshness a currency you no longer hold. The emperor, his health waning, coughs behind silk screens, his steps shadowed by attendants, as Xuanzong Shilu records his decline in the 1570s. His absence sharpens the ambitions of those beneath him, the harem's air thick with unspoken plots. You, a fifth-rank concubine, are no longer summoned, your name fading from his gaze, as historian Keith McMahon notes. In the harem, favor was as fleeting as spring blossoms. Your son, now a toddler, lives in the palace of eternal spring, raised by nurses who control his every moment. You visit when permitted, his small face sometimes unfamiliar, as you whisper songs from his infancy, hoping to stir a memory. The Daming Huaidian mandates such separation, ensuring imperial heirs belong to the dynasty, not their mothers. The pain of this distance, as modern maternal psychology suggests, carves a hollow in your heart, yet fuels your resolve to protect him. He is valuable, a potential heir, but that makes him vulnerable, a target in a court where power shifts like sand. The palace grows restless. Grain prices soar, plague rumors seep through the walls, and whispers of a purge return as Ming Shi recounts a 1560s culling of over 100 concubines during a famine, their names erased. Servants avoid your eyes, eunuchs speak in hushed tones. Meals shrink, and water arrives late. Signs of a system tightening, as McMahon observes. The harem shed excess when the empire strained. You feel the threat, a shadow creeping closer. Your health falters. Your lungs burn at night. Your bound feet, long since broken, fester with infection. Physicians tend the emperor daily, but for women like you, care is scarce, as Ming Huiao notes medical neglect for lower ranks. You lie on a threadbare mat, your once rich silk robes thinning with age. The girls you trained now train others, their bows polite, but their eyes sliding past, focused on their own ascent. At 25 in 1581, you are a ghost in the palace, known by few, your body failing. Yet you remain, a quiet rebellion against a system that discards the useless. As Susan Mann writes, survival itself was defiance in the harem. Your son, smuggled to a rural cousin years ago, is your greatest act of resistance. His unbound feet, a freedom you'll never know. The King Shi Gao, a later chronicle, hints at such escapes. Rare, but possible when desperation outweighed fear. You navigated this world without a noble name or protection, preserving a spark of the village girl who once played in dust. The cultural context of Ming China underscores your plight. Women in the harem, as Mann explains, were tools of imperial legacy, their lives expendable once their utility waned. A parallel lies in the Ottoman harem, where Leslie Pierce describes concubines fading into obscurity unless they bore heirs, their stories buried. Your son's survival beyond these walls is your legacy, a thread of hope in a system designed to erase you. Emotionally, modern trauma studies suggest prolonged survival in oppressive systems fosters a steely resilience, and you embody it, your silence a shield, your vigilance a sword. The harem's corridors, alive with rustling silk and hidden blades, continue their endless dance. New girls practice their bows, unaware of the cost, as you once were. Your final days are marked by shallow breaths, the nights stretching longer, the pain in your feet and chest a constant hum. One evening the lamps outside your door go unlit, a silent signal as Ming Shi notes of deaths left unmarked. Your thoughts drift not to the emperor or the palace, but to your son, his name unspoken but alive in your heart. You hope he forgets you, that he walks free under open skies, his life untouched by these walls. Your last breath slips out without ceremony, no record to mark it, no inscription to carry your story, as McMahon writes. The harem consumed lives, leaving only silence. The palace moves on, silk walls rustle, eunuchs glide, new girls arrive. Yet somewhere, your son lives, his unbound feet a testament to your defiance. You were never a jewel in a crown, as the King Shi Gao reflects on nameless women who resisted in shadows. A similar tale echoes in the story of a 1570s concubine, recorded in Ming Huiao, who hid her daughter from a purge, her sacrifice uncelebrated but enduring. Your life, shaped by a system that sought to consume you, was a quiet rebellion, your son's freedom a victory carved in secrecy. The harem's truths, buried in archives, challenge the myth of imperial glory, as Mann urges. History hides the voices of the silenced. If your story stirs something, it's a call to seek more. Other women, other lives, lost in palaces across time, from Ming China to Ottoman Turkey, their resistance a whisper waiting to be heard. Your legacy, carried by a boy beyond these walls, proves that even in a world built to erase, a single act of courage can breathe forever. So, what do you think about this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below so we can chat about it together. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to follow my channel to catch the latest videos.